PBDCtv presents You Can't Sit With Us podcast with your host, Mother Delamort, Akad Norman, and Hexus Diamond.
Hey.
Where? I thought I had her locked up in a box.
I'm sorry.
I may have locked the Wendigo version of
The Wendigo. Hexus let me do this tonight.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Well, here we are.
Oh yeah, sorry. I am sending a few things out here.
We finally got this together. We are on our third episode
We
tonight.
finally did, yes. Yay!
Yes. We are finally putting this out. Actually, you after tonight, the next couple days, you'll be able to get stuff on Spotify and stuff like that.
Alicia!
Hi.
Hey,
Sorry.
Alicia.
That is his niece.
My niece. But
Who's drunk this early?
none of us. I haven't even had a sip yet, Bobby.
Haven't drank yet, Bobby. Sorry. I'm gonna get us through the comments we do have right now, and then if you guys have not noticed this yet, we are going to be like saying what we have to say, and then we'll take some time to go back to the comments and talk to you guys about those, and then we're going to go back to what we're saying. So we're not always going to get to everything right away like we usually do in normal live feeds, because this is not a normal live feed.
No.
This is our podcast.
This is our podcast.
Woo woo.
More like our rad
And next
cat.
is the from here on out, you'll have to catch us on Spotify and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Woo.
I'd say only special events maybe that we'll do here live.
Yeah.
So I thought since it was special that I needed star freckles.
Star Freckles.
All right.
Actually,
So
real fast, let me say this. We will still do our regular live feeds here.
oh yeah,
on
we're still going to do
Facebook.
our live feeds like we normally do.
But the meat and potatoes, like I keep saying that word when it comes to this podcast, is going to be on Spotify. So that's where you're going to really that's where you can actually see or hear us, getting extremely graphic and everything like that. Because, Facebook, well,
Hates
Zuckerberg.
us.
There you go.
So hey Mikey, what's up? Hey Henry, hello. We said hello to Alicia as
Henry.
well. Bobby, hello, good sir.
Roberto.
Hey, everybody.
Stephen P. Kitty Cat.
Steven.
And Pogo, what's up?
What's up, Pogo?
Hello,
Hey,
and
Pogo.
Mrs. Pogo.
Hello.
All right, guys, share out, please. Please share out. Tonight we are talking about, what are we talking about, Natalie?
We are
talking about cursed objects and items.
Yep.
You mean like my narwhal? I mean, it does do its own stuff,
Well-
see?
I had an interaction with a cursed object earlier today. I'm not going to lie about it. Wasn't too happy with it.
What?
When I was taking a shower,
Break out.
the soap. I got soap in my no-no bits.
We are not going to talk about that.
I'm
We are
talking
not-
about it. I got soap in my no-no bits, and it was not fun.
Hi, Sepsis.
Hi, Sepsis.
How are you? Thank you so much for the stars. We appreciate that always.
Was not fun.
I don't think soap on a rope would help with that, would it?
No. No.
There was soap on a rope for sure. All right. So we've said our hellos.
Did our house cleaning.
Oh, thank you so very much. I did not see that.
Oh, thank you.
And hello, Ivar.
Seth says, what's up? You guys are looking
Hi,
great.
Ivar.
We do still have to keep in getting the habit of reading the comments.
We do got to get back into the habit.
Because when you guys actually hear this on Spotify and stuff like that, it's going to be the whole, you're just going to be like, oh, yeah, thank you. No, we have to read it out loud.
See, Anise doesn't need to know all that, Alicia says.
Star Anise? I'm kidding.
All right, let's jump into this. So again, we've got to the comments currently. Now we are going to go to what we're talking about, and then we will get to the comments again shortly. So don't worry, we will touch base.
Would you guys say episode 1 was mine, and episode 2 would be yours? Episode 3 is Natalie's. I think so. Or I hope so.
Alicia, don't worry. We're not going to continue to talk about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
She's all, see ya. I was like, no, we're not going to
Y'all went robot on me. Do what?
Oh, Alicia thought that we were going to keep talking that way. And I said, don't worry, we won't.
All right. Let's get this started.
So where do you want to start with the cursed objects? I say Natalie starts with the cursed objects.
Yep. Natalie?
So you want me to start?
Oh, yeah.
I think I'm going to have to go out and come back in. All I'm hearing is robot voices.
Oh, no problem.
Then you know what? We'll start.
Where's let me make sure it's not us on our
Okay.
side.
We will start then.
I'll be right back.
All right, no problem. So we were touching base on the Dybbuk box, rather.
I always thought it was called Dybbuk.
It says Dybbuk. Dybbuk? Yeah, Dybbuk.
I think it's Dybbuk.
Yeah, I could be wrong. It's a wine cabinet claimed to be haunted by a Dybbuk, which is a concept from Jewish mythology. The box gained notoriety when it was auctioned off.
Sorry. It's not us.
When it was auctioned off by its owner, Kevin Manis, who created a story featuring the Holocaust, some Holocaust survivors, and paranormal claims as part of his eBay item description. His story was the inspiration for the 2012 horror film, The Possession. So, in 2003, in Portland, Oregon, I'm going to have to make this a little smaller here.
Oh!
Let's do this. So, in 2003, in Portland, Oregon, writer and furniture refinishing business owner Kevin Manis purchased a cabinet from a yard sale of a local attorney and began developing a backstory. According to Manis, the carving in the box of it is my carving. The stone in the box is something that is a signature creation of mine as well. Make no mistake, I conceived the Dybbuk box. And the name, the term, the idea, and wrote the creative story around it and posted it on eBay. The auction description included a story claiming the cabinet was previously owned by a survivor from the Holocaust who was in Poland, who said it contained a malicious spirit called a Dybbuk, which is it's supposed to be a dislocated soul of a dead person, and it supposedly leaves the host's body once it's accomplished its goal. Sometimes after it's been exorcised, but usually what it does is it maims or kills its host.
So the soul comes out of the body and then kills.
It's a spirit that kills the host.
Oh, it kills the host, and then just so it can actually take the spirit of
and it leaves. No, it leaves.
Oh, okay.
It's actually the soul of a dead person, and then it comes in and possesses somebody.
Oh.
Oftentimes it's seen as a demon and exorcised, but its intent is to kill the body that it possesses.
Haha.
So, yeah. And the box had paranormal powers and was responsible for the bad luck and nightmares. Subsequent owners retold Manus' story when reselling the item and amplified it with their own claims of strange phenomena. One owner, Jason Haxton, director of the Museum of Osteopathic Medicine in Kirksville, Missouri, launched a website that consolidated claims about the cabinet called the Dybbuk Box, and reportedly received hundreds of thousands of hits and created what has been described as an internet legend.
Hey,
I'm going to finish this sentence.
I had to come in on a different device.
You sound better. You sound better. So,
okay, good.
Haxton sold the rights to the story to a Hollywood production company. The subsequent film, The Possession, was produced by none other than Sam Raimi and was released in 2012. Haxton later gave the cabinet to Zach Baggins to display in his museum. And in 2018, rapper Post Malone claimed a spate of bad luck that was caused by him coming in contact with this cabinet.
So basically this cabinet is almost like a tulpa, that someone had a story, it already had a story with it. People came together, and the more and more the story went along, it became
it's
more
a tulpa.
alive. Yeah.
It's totally a tulpa.
Oh yeah, I would definitely say it is.
Because, I mean, the guy even admitted, hey, I totally made this shit up. And sold the rights to his crazy awesome story to Sam Raimi. And Sam Raimi made a really cool movie about it. But the problem is now more and more people that have owned it after this guy, Kevin, sold it. Every person claims to have had some kind of supernatural experience with the box, and it's just gaining more and more momentum and gaining more and more scary effects. And for the record, for those of you
that does seem more like a tulpa to me.
Yeah. Well, so let's explain what a tulpa is. A tulpa is, because just in case a lot of people don't understand what it is, a tulpa is what you would like if you ever seen American Gods. In that, the American gods, all the gods and American gods are tulpas. It's basically people believing in something and then believing it so much and so many people coming together believing it that it actually it's said to become a real being.
So it's created in the imagination by visualization techniques such as Tibetan mysticism. It was actually created through through a Tibetan, the Tibetan belief, rather. My brain just went. So through that mysticism. And there are people that are called tulpamancers, which would refer to people that are practitioners in creating said tulpas.
Well, and it's kind of the same concept too. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get this thing. I'm not used to using this particular device there. It's also kind of along the same lines as the golem.
Yes.
Like the Jewish idea of the golem. This is going to
the
nuts.
Which I have always found is so cool.
The Dybbuk box itself is
of Hebrew.
Yeah.
Because the Dybbuk,
well, that would make a lot of sense.
The Dybbuk itself, the creature Dybbuk, is in Jewish mythology. It's a malicious, possessing spirit believed to be a dislocated soul of a dead person, and it supposedly leaves the host body once it's accomplished its goal, or it's been exorcised. And oftentimes, the goal is to kill the host body.
I don't know. I honestly believe in the concept of tulpas. It's just like sympathetic magic. If you fear something enough or you want something enough, I think that it can manifest. That's my personal belief. So
exactly. And one of the things I've always believed with magic, especially, I do believe that there's something more out there. I'm not one of those people who pushes my beliefs on other people and says, "Oh my God, you have to. This is how it is. This is what it is." But I do believe that, in a sense, too, because magic is not only a means for you to try to change the world or change the universe or how to bend to your will or have the universe bend to your will, it's also a form of therapy. It's a form to it's basically you do your stuff, get it out there, and forget about it. If anything, that is completely therapy. And this is where stuff like this comes in, that people believe it so much that they actually create a presence that actually can affect other people and stuff.
Slender Man.
Slender Man is a prime example of a tulpa. Yes.
And so going on to talk about how Kevin Mannis actually, it's not really a recanting. He stated in his eBay post, he made up this entire story, right? In the post. Mm-hmm. And so in 2021, Mannis admitted to writer Charles Moss that the box was of his own creation. He said, "I am a creative writer. The Dybbuk box is a story that I created, and the Dybbuk box story has done exactly what I intended it to do when I posted it 20 years ago, which is to become an interactive horror story in real time."
So he's a chaos magician is what he said. Wow. He literally just took what he had at his hand, said, "Screw this! I'm not going to go follow any of this this right hand path magic. I'm going to do left hand path magic. I'm sorry, I got a lisp a little bit right there, and I'm going to put this thing together and just see how it goes." Well, that's exactly what he did.
He also said that he added new elements to the Dybbuk box story over the years to help it evolve and keep it relevant and interesting, and he has managed to maintain that. I have seen the video. He has really freaked Post Malone the fuck out.
I love this.
But, you could even apply that same concept to religion.
Oh yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
How things are added to it in order to keep the masses' attention.
Well, look at let's just, not just religion, but look at the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Mm-hmm. Those stories have actually been retold for thousands of years. Captain America, all that stuff. I mean, they're based on gods and stuff like that. They're based on old myths. It's always a hero going out and saving the world, regardless of what they're doing. Like Hercules and his labors and stuff like that. You have Beowulf,
the Iliad, the Odyssey, where you always have a hero. Everybody wants a hero, and and everybody wants a villain. Mm-hmm. Let's be honest.
And you just tweak them throughout the years.
Well, and that's the reason I find folklore and history so interesting, because they're interconnected. Even some of the stuff that seems just completely just folklore, whether it's a cautionary tale or something like that, at some point you usually run up against that tiny grain of salt on what it was based on. So I just find that stuff fascinating.
Well, like our video that we showed about the Fresno Walkers.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
I mean, what the hell are they?
I don't know. I don't know.
Are they something created for somebody's mind?
Was it?
Because you're like, oh, that's just people with stilts and like shit on. But then the more you look at it, you're like, no, they don't cast the right kind of shadow. And the film itself was way before these. What were they? What are they called? Deep edits or whatever they're called. Like some of these really, really cool videos nowadays are like the deep edits or what have you. It was way before that. So
the Brocky.
The Borkle.
The Borkle. Sorry, Bobby.
I guess we could get to some comments real fast since it pertains to this subject. So when I was having trouble pronouncing Dybbuk, Bobby said the Deborkle.
The Borkle.
The Deborkle.
I think I like Deborkle better.
Yep, I like Deborkle.
Yep.
We might have to get ourselves into a Deborkle, but
That sounds like you made a mess of something. God, what a Deborkle.
This is just a Deborkle right now. God damn it.
So Pogo says Mr. and Mrs. Pogo moved into a new house and it is haunted. We have had several occurrences with the 3 ghosts, all positive ones. And I want to touch base on that because I need to get back in your group since I made a few new pages. But I need to touch base with because I was really having fun following what you guys were doing. And yeah.
You know what's funny? There's another story I do remember of it was from Unsolved Mysteries, and I wonder if Mikey has actually seen this because
I'm sure he has.
Mikey's huge into Unsolved Mysteries. But I remember watching when I was a kid. It was a story about a haunted house, and the guy was upstairs taking a shower. Well,
sorry.
He was just having a bowel movement of all bowel movements, and out of nowhere got a hand job. No.
Oh God. He's all, this is the best ghost story ever.
The ghost was in the Blumpkins. No, he was sitting there taking a shower. He was standing there taking a shower.
Taking a shower.
He was telling all the ghosts that you can't sit with me while I'm taking a shower. Your elbow was in my face.
I had to put my hair up.
Sorry. But he was taking a shower, and the ghost. It was a ghost, and it started. Well, like we just said, giving him a hand job, and then all of a sudden he started getting aroused, and he felt like he was inside of a girl, but there was no one there. Now he comes down the stairs, didn't say anything about it.
Isn't this one of those?
This was straight up on Unsolved Mysteries. I remember.
Are you
this.
sure? Because there was also a show at the same time that was like Truth or Fiction.
Unless this is the Mandela effect, it was Unsolved Mysteries. Because, okay, I swear to God, I'm going off on the side post.
All right, so we've got to go back to what that word was. Debuckle? What was
Deborkle?
Debuckle. That sounds exactly what happened to that man.
Quite a deborkle.
Well, later on,
later
on that week, his wife came in there and started taking a shower too, and it was the same thing, except for
she had a dick.
No, she just felt like she was being fooled around with by someone. And then all of a sudden they came back down, and they're having this weird look on her face. And then the parents come around the corner because it was their parents' house. They were visiting, and the parents said, the father, I think, said, "So you had a shower in the upstairs bathroom, didn't you?" It was one of those weird things.
That kind of reminds. Now, wasn't there? And I want to go back to Pogo's post here in just a minute, because I have all kinds of questions when things like this, when people are doing this kind of stuff, because I'm like, stone tape theory, what kind of rocks are under your house? Is there a moving water nearby? But the entity, do you remember that movie from, I think it was the early 80s?
Vaguely.
Based on a true haunting where she was basically molested over and over again.
Oh, wow. I vaguely do remember that one. I haven't seen it in forever. I do remember. I remember the name. But it
was more like a malevolent type thing.
This was straight up Unsolved Mysteries, and it was benevolent. It was nice. It was just very sexual. Horny. They actually did do. They went back.
Legends of the Horny Ghost.
They went back and looked at who lived there prior, and I think they found out it was like a cancer patient, and she ended up dying in the house. Is what it was, or something along those lines.
So she needed to get some.
She needed to get some.
So let's go into some more comments here. Hey, Kukui! Mikey. Shelby says, "Hey, bro and sis. Hey."
And Shelby also said hi to Natalie.
And also says hello to Natalie.
It was on there somewhere. I saw it, but
I missed it.
Oh, that's fine.
Pogo says shared.
So Pogo, seriously, stone tape theory. Do you have a lot of quartz or limestone or under your house or around your house?
We got to pick your brain, Pogo.
We got to find this out.
Because I want to see some of your videos. I've been looking at some of your videos when I was still in the group. I'm not sure if I'm still in, so I need to jump back into your group. But yeah, how rude.
Bobby says.
All right. Yep. Bobby said he thought about Entity.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And Bobby here is definitely a horror film buff.
Yeah, he is the one who I definitely think Bobby could give Stephen P. Kitty Cat a run for his money.
I was about to say that, and I didn't want to be rude, but I would love to have Bobby and Stephen P. Kitty Cat just go off talking about horror movies.
Oh, I thought you said.
Oh, that would be fun.
Yeah, bump up uglies. This is gonna happen. Sorry, Bobby. And Henry, I will get back to your comment because it's something I am going to touch base on later on in this feed. And let's see. And Pogo also said that he watched a documentary on Mothman last night that was pretty interesting.
That's actually something else we can get into too, because the Mothman, people have had interactions with the Mothman. The one weird thing they always have is pink eye from seeing the lights and stuff like that. They were saying it was actually from the irritation, or it could be possibly from the radiation or something like that. And they all get pink eye from the Mothman. Hey, Jackal Demon.
Bobby says that you beat him to the Blumpkin joke.
No, there are different types of pink eye. Now, what if the Mothman is like a monkey and he's actually throwing shit at you and you got it in your eye? And that's how you got pink eye. Radioactive Mothman pink eye.
It's just the Mothman farting on your pillow.
Well, okay. So I do have to say, have you guys seen Hellier yet? I think it was on either Netflix or Prime, one of those two. And it was really interesting because it was kind of a docu-style show with the not found footage, but the, where they're carrying the camera around. I call it found footage type, effect. And the way they linked the Mothman and the Hopkinsville goblins together was super interesting. And a lot of the underground caverns with Mammoth Caves, which runs all up and down that area through like Missouri and all up around in there.
So Pogo says that's ghosting on a whole new level. But also his answer to you, Pogo says, we live in a snowtown in the...
No, Snowtown is a town.
We live in Snowtown in the Flinders Ranges, and there's huge deposits of quartz throughout there.
Oh, wow. So it actually...
We need to do something on stone tape theory sometime.
Hey, Liko!
Hi, Liko!
I know I tagged so many people in the prior, and I was like, boom, 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 boom. Everyone check it out.
Bobby says challenge accepted.
For Stephen P. Kitty Cat.
Yep.
Stephen P.
Kitty Cat. Here you go. And also, Pogo does say that the house is about 115 years old.
Would a house count as a cursed object?
A house can count as a cursed object. It is an object.
I mean, yeah. So technically, Pogo lives in a cursed object right now. I mean, depends rather. I mean, he said they're all good though, so not cursed. So
yeah.
Well, his wouldn't be a curse, and some houses are like a Dybbuk box.
Mm-hmm.
Basically,
the square houses, those are like Dybbuk boxes.
Well, let me bring this up real fast. Do you think the Amityville Horror House is actually more like a Dybbuk box? Because
I think it's more of a tulpa.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm sorry, it's on my jaw. Wow, it locked up right now.
I think.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, no, because it's. A lot of people were. I mean, a lot of people. The Myers who originally came up with the story? They were basically saying it with even they kind of came out with like they're full of shit, But the mythology that's built up around that house now, and even though they've had tenants in there now for a long time, they've said they've had no issues, but would it be, people coming in there like us or people who are so into the story of it, would they start having issues with it, with whatever spirits or whatever that's been invited into the house, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think going on both of what you guys are saying, I think that it could be a thought form of thinking, like a tulpa, that could in some way open some sort of door to something that's maybe never been human and has very malevolent intentions. Because there's some nasty stuff. There's some, I mean, if you believe in that, if you believe in, kind of the spiritual space outside of our reality, there's some nasty stuff.
I mean, I just pulled up something about it's time to set the record straight. The truth about the Amityville Horror.
That's something we can get into a little bit later.
And we can always do this in another episode.
Yep.
Because it is a whole lot of stuff, but I did pull it up. So stay tuned, y'all, because that is something.
That hasn't been covered a lot that I've seen. At least in the podcast I listen to.
I know of one. I know one podcast that has covered it, and that's pretty much it. It's the one I always listen to. Last podcast and left. So
So yesterday he was listening to last podcast on the left, and it popped up while I was on the computer, and I found some Prince.
Oh no, I was listening to Pantera.
No.
No, it was Pantera. I literally was listening to.
I'm sorry, Pantera, and then I found Maybe I'm Just Like My Mother.
I sent her,
She's never
I sent her a text. I was like, so
satisfied.
apparently, my Spotify is being haunted or possessed by the ghost of Prince right now.
And then I sent him.
My ear is being haunted by the spider Hank. I do not have a spider in my ear. I did not have a spider in my ear. I have an ear canal infection from what was it? He said swimmer's ear.
The spider is hiding behind your spine right now. It went
in. He lives in there. There's no spiders. I promise.
All right, so let's get to the next one. Let's get to the next one. Which one do we want to do next?
Do you want to do
Natalie?
Oh! I know one. All right,
this is the one I'm thinking of. This is the one I was actually thinking of when you brought it up to me. It popped in my head as this one. I think
this one. You want me to go ahead and do this one? Okay. All right.
Yeah, because it's a good one.
All right. So a lot of curses you hear about, of course. There's a lot of evidence to argue on whether the curse is real or whether it's not. It's usually 50-50. There's just as much information out there to argue that it's not true just as much as it's true. And curses, of course, are common, especially when there are occult themes. And whereas the cursed ring of the silent film star Rudolph Valentino is concerned, though, it is hard to write it all off as just a coincidence. None is more macabre than that of the tiger's eye ring of Rudolph Valentino, better known as the Ring of Destiny. And why do I think of Thanos?
I was thinking of Jack Black with the Pick of Destiny.
I was thinking of the Green Lantern.
Yeah. And actually, it's a beautiful ring. You can go online and you can see pictures of it.
I don't think anybody. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
What is it called again?
Rudolph Valentino's.
The Ring of Destiny.
I want to say. Well, I think we're going to get to this. I'm jumping ahead. I'm sorry. We'll get to that in the story.
Simmer down, Frank. Simmer down.
Oh, wow.
So the tiger's eye is a golden brown quartz crystal, for anybody that doesn't know what a tiger's eye is, whose vibrant sheen comes from alternating bands of inclusions. So it looks like it has a lot of stripes and stuff. It looks kind of like a cat's eye, sort of.
Mm-hmm.
Were you going to say something, Frank?
No, I was agreeing with you. I'm sorry. We found a picture of it.
Okay. So one such crystal, polished and set into a man's ring, caught the eye of the famed actor Rudolph Valentino. And of course, like I said, he was a silent screen star, and he was also the first international male sex symbol. Now, known simply as, that's it right there. Known simply as the Latin lover, the Italian-born American was at his height of his fame when he bought his infamous ring at a shop in San Francisco. Despite the warnings from the shopkeeper, who told the actor that the ring's previous owners had all met misfortune. Now, I know there's some people out there going, "Oh, pish posh, this is just another one of those stories." But there's a lot of bad stuff that kind of ran along with this ring. So, undetermined, Valentino wore the ring through the filming of The Young Raja, which turned out to be his one and only box office flop.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed common sense got the better of him for a time, and Valentino put the ring away, only to take it out again for the premiere of his next film, The Son of the Sheik. Now, a few weeks after the movie opened, Valentino collapsed outside of his New York apartment and was rushed to the hospital. Now, he was first, diagnosed with having acute appendicitis. He had a couple of misdiagnosis, and I think that's one of the reasons why his problem got to the point to where it was really, really bad. But it's later.
Oh no, his problem was one of those things that could have been easily fixed too.
Exactly, but it was just he had a lot of misdiagnosis. on what was going on even after the acute appendicitis. But what they had found out was that he had several ruptured ulcers in his stomach. He did go in for surgery, yeah. But soon after, during his recovery, he wound up dying of septicemia. And apparently all of it happened really quick. Now, in the aftermath of his funeral, which drew 100,000 mourners, which is a lot of people during that time, and caused several suicides from grief. Now, the executors of his will gave his lover, Pola Negri, her choice of Valentino's belongings. Now, she chose her beloved's favorite ring and almost immediately fell gravely ill. Now, Pola put the ring away, and there it stayed for several years until she met a young actor by the name of Russ Colombo, who was said to be a near double for striking for Valentino. So he looked very much like Rudolph Valentino. Pola gave the ring to the young man as a gift, saying from one Valentino to another. A few days later, after a heated argument, however, Russ Colombo was shot to death by his friend. Now, it keeps going. Colombo's possessions went to his cousin then, who immediately gave the ring to Colombo's best friend, an entertainer by the name of Joe Casino.
What a name.
Right? Who locked the accursed thing in a glass case and never wore it. That is until many years later, when deciding the curse was all a fantasy, he started sporting it around town. It wasn't long, actually just mere weeks, in fact, before Joe Casino got into an automobile accident. His car was hit by a truck and he died on the scene. Then the ring passed to Joe Casino's brother, Dell, who was convinced the curse was nothing but a series of grim coincidences and wore it for many years without incident, even loaning it to another Valentino impersonator who also suffered no ill effect. It seemed like Dell was correct and the curse was all just a bunch of hooey. That is, until his home was robbed. Unable to make an escape at that time, the thief was trapped by the police. The police officer, meaning to fire a warning shot, wound up striking and killing the robber instantly, while the ring sat in the robber's pocket. And it doesn't stop there.
Did you just choke on beer?
That made me laugh, and it doesn't stop there. This thing keeps going.
It's worse. Dell then
I'll say this. I was going to say, I'll say this. I'm actually kind of afraid that one of us might end up with this ring somehow.
Oh, well, be afraid. Be very, very afraid. I haven't even gotten to that point yet. So then Casino's brother Dell decides not to tempt fate any further, and he kept the ring under lock and key until it was requested by a 21-year-old figure skater by the name of Jack Dunn, who was being considered for the role of Rudolph Valentino in an upcoming biopic about the infamous actor's life. Now, Dunn wore the ring and some of Valentino's clothing to a screen test, died 10 days later from tularemia. A rare blood disorder that he contracted after handling a dead rabbit on a hunting trip.
Oh.
Okay, so that is when you hunt. I'm going to get into something weird here. So when you slice open, wild game, rabbits in particular, rodents in particular that are wild game, you will see these white spots on the livers and the internal organs. This means do not eat it because they have tularemia.
Have you seen what's that one reality show? Alone?
Oh no, it's not. Is it Alone?
It's Alone. It was on. It's on Netflix. Show. They only have one season of it. Season 7.
It's so good.
It's toward the end. One of the girls on there who was out there. They have to go back into the Canadian wilderness for
100 days.
100 days, and they put them out there summertime, and they go into winter in the Canadian wilderness, in the tundra. Now,
I think somebody would tell me about the show.
It's a super cool show. It's probably us. It's a super cool show. I actually really liked it, but they only put out one season on Netflix.
They have about 9 seasons total.
But in there, there's a girl in there. She catches a porcupine, and it has this.
Oh no, this one was the rabbit. She had already done the porcupine and done her hair up with the porcupine.
No, it was the porcupine that she went and tried to get from the cave that she killed, and she actually dragged it out.
The last one was a rabbit, and she was so happy, and she opened it, and she started crying.
No, this was the other one. This is another girl that she got a porcupine. There was two girls on there. One girl got a rabbit that she didn't eat. There was another girl that got a porcupine, and she ended up deciding to eat it.
Yeah.
Because she wanted $1 million.
She was starving. No, that was the whole thing.
It's one of those things, unlike like trichinosis, where heat will kill it. Heat will not kill. Apparently,
no, it's spotted liver disease, and right when she was showing it off to the camera, because they film everything themselves.
She was like, "I was so hungry."
It looks like just gigantic pus pockets all over the liver, and once you see that, you get rid of the meat.
I'd be like, this rabbit done gone bad from the inside.
Well, she was trying to figure out like, do I just avoid the organ meat since it's the organs that are affected and not the rest of the meat? And that's how she really got sick.
She ended up she actually had to leave the series because she was
vomiting.
Only about a week. No, she was only about a week or so away. She wasn't vomiting.
Oh no, that was the toe. She had to leave because she got gangrene on her toe.
She got frostbite, and then
she would have won.
She got frostbite, and then at the end of it, she was hospitalized for a few months because of this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Can you get rid of it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's a bacteria, but it's very, very, very dangerous.
It's treatable, but it is deadly.
Oh, wow. Well, apparently the guy he got it and died of it. Whew. So then the ring was returned to Del Casino, who kept it in a chest until his death, which was caused by natural causes, whereupon the executioner of his will moved it along with several other possessions to a bank vault in Los Angeles. While the Tiger's Eye was in residence, the bank suffered 2 robberies, one of which saw the ring itself stolen. Now, when it was stolen, several of the thieves were shot and killed by police in the ensuing chase. After being arrested, the leader of the gang said if he would have known what was in that vault, he would have chosen a different bank. Because apparently this cursed ring was like everybody knew about it, and then it just kind of fell into obscurity.
Well, there's a lot of rumors that I know you've never been to Hollywood, but when you finally come over here to visit us, we'll take you to Hollywood. There is so many like stories, myths about certain areas. It's a really, really neat place. I mean, you get there and there's this air of murder.
Well, I like history. Especially dark history. So that would be right at my house.
When you come out here, we'll go to the Museum of Death.
Yes. So then, after it was taken to the bank, and after the bank robbers were shot, the ring was returned to the vault. The bank then suffered a cashier strike and then a fire in which the ring disappeared. Its current whereabouts unknown, as is the origins of its curse. So they don't really know anything about before, and they don't know where it's at now.
Well, it's probably deep in the mines of Appalachia right now.
Right. No, it's on the ring finger of the railroad man.
Yes. Ever onward and ever forward. Or did I say it wrong? Ever forward and ever onward.
I don't know.
Potato salad. God, I love that podcast.
So let's talk about, I guess let's get to some comments here. Most of them are just like, hey, hi, hello. So we'll just get to them and get through. Hello,
hi,
Lico.
Lico.
We got some Nightmare Clowns in here tonight. So guys, go support the Nightmare Clowns. That's Clowns with a K. For those of you listening to us on podcast. And Pogo says, I'll be setting up to do a paranormal investigation soon live from our house. Please let us know. We would love to watch.
Yes.
Calvin says, I had a spirit stay with me for a few years.
I hope you charged him rent, Calvin. I'm kidding. I'm sorry.
Eat everything out of the refrigerator. Was it a teenager? Because they'll eat everything out of the refrigerator.
It might have been the Fae. It might have been a leprechaun staying in your house.
Chloricon.
There you go.
Chloricons are the ones that drink all the beer.
And you have to feed them.
If you feed them, they're happy with you.
If you get them drunk, they're happy with you.
Feed them potato salad.
Potato salad.
So Henry says, interesting. Ivar is recommending Billy Goal. And we have been looking up some information, and this is a serial killer that Roots Bleed Red is definitely going to touch base on.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. Mm-hmm. Nadine! Hello!
Hey!
And Mikey says, creepy.
Ooh, creepy.
Ay, Dios míos.
Crusher Corpse, hey!
Hey, Crush Corpse.
Cursed Ring, nice but scary, absolutely. So I think we're going to touch base now on a really infamous one, but especially infamous in...
Well, let's give a backstory here first. I actually took... Okay.
In Los Angeles in California. Let me finish my sentence. Thank you. Now go ahead.
I took Liz when we first got together, the first week we got together. So the second to last spot of James Dean's death is the Monte Carlo bar, and it is still up. It's still running. It is about 5 miles south of my house right now. And then we were heading over to her aunt's house, who lived in Santa Cruz, right?
Yes.
Yeah, or San Jose. Well, we were San Jose, Santa Cruz. And we were heading there. Your aunt. I was about to say your cousin.
My grandma.
Yeah, and your grandmother at the time.
Ay, Dios mío.
I was like, we were driving by. I was like, have you ever been to Blackwell's Corner? And she goes, no. I was like, that's the actual James Dean's last spot. Stop. And I was like, we went in there, and I was like, go look at the back counter right there. They still have the luncheonette counter, everything ready, and they have a dummy of him with his clothes on right there.
And I hugged him.
Yeah, we got a picture of him. But
I thought you were going to say they still set out a plate for him or something. I was about to go, poo, poo, poo.
I used to have these posters on my wall in high school. I loved James Dean. I still do.
You know, everything I've read on him, he was kind of a tortured soul, though.
He was. Yeah. Well, how many movies? He only did 3 movies, but he was going 4. Is it 4? He was. If this didn't happen to him, he was going to keep going. He was going to be one of those stars. Okay. But we when I first went there, the first time I ever stopped off there at that spot, I just it was probably about like 11 o'clock at night, and I'm heading back here. And I'm just looking at this guy. I was like, why is this guy sitting at the luncheonette by himself? They're not open. And I'm like, what?
He's not moving. How does he stay so still?
How they have him sitting there is like this. And it's all you see is his back. And it's just, he's sitting there like James Dean. And I'm like, why is this guy sitting here? I walk up to it and I go, it just dawned on me. I was like, I'm at James Dean's last spot. Stop. And like, I keep saying last spot. His last spot is actually up the road.
He took me to his second to the last, and then he took me to the last location he was at, and then he took me to his last real.
So the 46, the 46
that's
highway.
Only, 30 minutes from there? It's not that far.
No, it's from here. It's about an hour. It's about an hour away.
Right.
But it's
he must have did it in 30 minutes. Never mind.
Oh, he was at Porsche. Oh yeah, he was heading to a race.
Yeah,
he was. Him and his mechanic were heading to a race.
He wanted to open up. Are we going to talk about that? Is that what we're getting ready to talk about?
We could be.
Because I love that story.
Well, I mean, it's sad,
but I love that story.
As we're heading up the 46, so the 46 changed its direction going up the hills right there because of James Dean's death. And as we're heading up there, I go, you see that tree down there? And she goes, yeah, because we're doing this during the day. Not like when I was doing it the night before. You can see the old road, and the trees, all of it's still there.
The tree still has like a dent, but it's grown out. But you can still see like where like
he didn't slam into the tree. What happened was the oncoming car slammed into him, but where he died was near the tree, and it's all still there.
Part of it's broken down, is what I was trying to say.
Oh, it's probably broken down from time.
But so. Yes, we are going to talk about Little Bastard. So,
great name for a car, honestly. Maybe not that car. Wouldn't want that car.
Well, yeah. The truth behind James Dean's cursed Porsche 500 Spider, aka Little Bastard. By the way, in 2006, Jerry Seinfeld's 1955 Porsche RS 550 Spider sold for $5,335,000 at auction and set a world price for Porsche. So, are we talking about that? Okay. I was like, I didn't get here to talk about Seinfeld. So, what's behind the car's appeal? It was the first Porsche vehicle built for racing. It had a successful career, earning the name the Giant Killer, and dominated its 1.5 liter class. It took on more powerful cars from Maserati, Ferrari, Aston Martin, Jaguar, or as the commercials say, Jaguar. It had a production run of 90 models, and only 80% of them still exist today. All models had a flat four engine, a hand-formed bodywork.
Now, flat engine we were talking about is the pancake engine that you would see in the back of Volkswagens and stuff like that.
Yeah. So one of the missing models has a particularly interesting story, and it's the one that James Dean lost his life in.
Wait, go back up real fast? Go back up. So his number for that car was 550-0055. So that is actually, he had the 55th car off the production line of the new ones.
Yeah. So James Dean, on September 30th, 1955, James Dean died in a car accident. He was 24 years old. Rumors have swirled around this accident, and most notably the car itself, the Porsche 500 Spider. The car had been nicknamed Little Bastard and caused death everywhere it went.
Mm-hmm.
James Dean knew how to tame powerful cars. He competed in many races throughout his life. He owned many fast vehicles. However, his new purchase was faster than any of the other cars that he had driven. The Spider had a 1.5 liter engine that delivered 112 horsepower. It was more than enough for a 550 kilogram vehicle. The Spider, however, caused problems the moment James Dean got it. After buying it, Dean began showing it off his new car and got to the top speed of 150 miles per hour.
Wow. Even today, that's insane.
That's still impressive.
That's fast. Well, I used to, I know it's completely different than a Porsche Spider, but I used to have one of the new little Bugs, and man, that thing, it would get up there before you knew it. But you got at about 100, maybe 102, that back end would start doing this kind of stuff. Of course, I didn't realize. I was just like, why is the back of my car bouncing? And I looked down. I'm like, holy shit, I'm going 100-something miles an hour.
I get speed wobbles at 70 in our truck, so.
They're extremely light vehicles. That's the reason why they can do so much with so little.
And they suck down to the road, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Porsches, Volkswagens, all of them. Well, I think, does Volkswagen own Porsches, or vice versa?
I don't know.
No, well, at least the new Volkswagens now, it has a lot of Audi parts on it.
That's right.
For the record, I'm getting a lot of this information from Hot Cars, and it's talking about the truth behind it. So, Alec Guinness, who is known for the role of Obi-Wan, warned Dean about the purchase. Guinness was overwhelmed by a gut instinct and went to explain that Dean would be dead within a week if he drove this Porsche. The actor's uncle, Charlie Nolan, also felt really uneasy about it. Strangely enough, Dean was killed in the car exactly 7 days after that conversation.
Okay, so aside from Dean dying in this, so are you saying if James Dean lived, because he was friends with the actor, Alex Guinness, who played Obi-Wan.
Alec,
I'm sorry. There was a chance that James Dean was going to be in Star Wars if he lived, if you think about it.
Han Solo.
He could have been Han Solo. He could have been Han Solo's father.
So,
Han Solo, I am your father.
I am your father, and you are not going out tonight.
For the record, 2 hours before He died. He actually got a speeding ticket.
Here in Bakersfield.
Here in Bakersfield.
Our cops don't give a fuck. They're going to give you a ticket regardless of who you are. What's his face? Thomas Jane got a ticket here in Bakersfield.
So I'm not getting to a lot of comments, but Tyler Fleming, by the way, this is one of the guys from October Noir. He's
Hi,
totally
Tyler.
awesome. Hi, Tyler. Go listen to October Noir. He said that a lot of VWs do have Porsche engines.
Yeah. Subarus have Porsche engines. They've sold that design, that pancake engine, out to a lot of places. It's a really great engine. It's an awesome engine.
So
what I was going to say too, not to interrupt, but kind of add into what you're talking about right at this moment. He was really good friends with Vampira, and she said that even at one point, like he had sent her, what was it, a picture or something of him holding a noose over his neck, saying something about when I die or something like that. In other words, it was, a lot of people saw that as like a foreboding too of him.
A lot of people warned him.
Prophesizing about his own soon-to-be death.
The crazy thing with his death is I want to say, if I remember this correctly, he was in his own lane. Excuse me. Him and his mechanic were in their lane. It was a student driving the opposite way who fell asleep at the wheel, who swerved over into their lane and slammed into them and killed James Dean. I think the mechanic
pulled in front of him, and James Dean couldn't stop in time.
That's what it was.
So the supposedly cursed car didn't stop causing havoc after Dean's death. It was totaled in the accident. So a guy named George Barris bought it off to sell it for parts. While the car was transferred in a truck, it fell off into a mechanic's leg. Barris wanted to hide the Porsche, but then lent it to a highway safety exhibit. The garage that housed the car caught on fire. However, the Spider wasn't damaged at all. At the exhibition, it fell off the display and broke a hip of a nearby visitor. George Barkuis? Bukaki? I don't know. Who was hauling the wreckage from the Spider on a truck, was killed when the car actually fell on him. In 1960, the car was on its way to a safety conference in Miami, and then it just mysteriously vanished.
Oh, there's
yep.
And so
they say, I forget where they say, but they say that they believe that. I have to go back and look at my notes. I did a thing on this a long time ago, that they think that it may be walled up in somebody, because all it was left, I think, was a door at that point.
Actually,
there wasn't a whole lot left of it.
Well, this is from the accident.
Oh, it's not going to show it. Nope. Nope, it won't pop up. It's not the right thing.
People kept stealing parts off that wreck as it was going around.
If you've ever seen the area where it happened, I'll send you later on pictures and stuff like that. It was a very open area, and it was actually parts. It's literally, at the time, it was a 2-lane road. It's westbound and eastbound, and it's just orchards. That's all there is. There's nothing out there. So when something like this collides out there too, like the wreckage all around there,
it took a long time for them to get ambulances and stuff out there, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah, it takes a while, especially at the time. Then was it 50s or 60s when it happened?
19.
It takes that area today, even to this day, there's no cell connection, nothing out there. They didn't have cell phones back then, but it's a very remote area.
Yes, Ivar. If it's parted, Ivar says, if it is parted out, wouldn't the parts carry the curse? Yes. There are theories to that as well.
Yep.
So as we now know, Barris sent the Porsche on tours when it disappeared. No one had seen it until 2016, when Sean Riley, a Washington State resident, Ivar, said that he had a scar on his finger that bugged him. He couldn't remember how he got it, but his therapy revealed his memory. According to Riley, his father had brought him on a job. They met up with people who wanted a wrecked performance car. They got the Porsche 500 Spider. Riley said he cut his finger on the car. He has even passed a lie detector test. As it was discovered later, the Porsche did not legally belong to Barris. He transferred ownership rights to an insurer. According to Volvo Museum director Brian Grams, the Porsche is now hidden somewhere in Washington. So, if it is hidden away, who is its legal owner? Attorney Lee Raskin, who wrote a book, James Dean, On the Road to Salinas, said the car was registered in California by its engine number and not by the chassis number. When Dean wrote the Porsche off to the insurance company, it was sold to Dr. William F. Esrich for $1,092. He removed the engine and many other components and restored the vehicle.
Oh, wow.
Dr. William F. Esrich,
he's the one that got the engine from Little Bastard, right? Because something about it.
Yeah. Well, he has the original pink slip for the car, but no official record of the transfer has been discovered. Therefore, Raskin believes that the Porsche still belongs to the doctor. William has not made any official claims. As for the other people involved in the discussion, Barris died and has slowed the process, which means it can take years to find out if it's even hidden in the doctor's garage.
Well, you want to know something about this? I can see why they would hide who has this. Because have you seen Jim Morrison's grave?
Yeah.
How just cluttered it is from all the stoners and hippies going over there. I can imagine anybody, even to this day, we're all James Dean fans. We all think about him. We all know about this stuff. Can you imagine anybody who knows where the car is, where it exactly is? They are going to go to that person's house or that person's shop left and right, especially in the 70s and 80s and stuff like that. It's just going to be just all these just candles, everything, just messing up everything like that.
Do you remember?
Well, there's a lot of urban legends about that too, because I think there was another guy that came back and said that this was down in Florida, and this goes back to something about it was brought in and stolen off that delivery truck, that freight truck, and there wasn't a whole lot left of what had started out in California and made its rounds to the United States, because when people would come to see it, they would start taking little pieces off, stick it in their pocket, and by the time it made its rounds a couple of times, there wasn't a whole lot left of what made that car, like the door and
the
chassis and things like that. And he said that he remembered them. I don't know if it was his dad or his uncle or somebody he knew that had walled it up in his garage.
So
we had a murder happen a couple streets down from us, right? And it literally had nothing to do with the poor woman whose house ended up getting balloons and flowers and candles and people standing out there at all hours of the night trying to stand vigil, and they didn't wash the blood off of the sidewalk for weeks. And this poor lady is a 90-year-old retired librarian. Okay.
Oh my God.
So imagine when somebody that is, let's be frank, he wasn't known. He was just some gangbanger around here that got murdered in a fight between other gangbangers.
Regardless of that, we can still have sympathy for his death.
Oh no, we have sympathy for his death, and I'm not saying that he deserved to die. But what I'm saying is he's not a well-known person. So now imagine if we did know where Little Bastard was. Imagine the kind of chaos and just stuff piled up like they do over at Joplin.
Tragedy brings out people that want to do good. They want to show their humanity.
Exactly.
Just like that situation you're talking about, where they put out a vigil. I'm sure it may have scared the lady that was living there.
It wasn't just a visual. It was people. She's 2 streets down. It was people, not just on the street where it's public property. People in her yard. Yard, setting up shrines in her yard, and her yard had a gate around it.
They were walking in and just doing it.
Getting aggressive with her when she would take down stuff in her yard.
Well, and I imagine that would very easily happen if someone even had an inkling of where they thought Little Bastard might be.
Oh, exactly. So I guess let's get to comments because we got a lot. So Mikey says, "Ay, Dios mío."
Adios, miros.
So Calvin, getting back to talking about his spirit that was in his house, they took the chain off my back door and opened the door. Was sitting on the toilet in the bathroom watching the chain lift up and come off the door.
No.
Look, if you
I'd be
want to
like,
come in,
oh shit, and then I would have done it.
I would have been like, look, Ghost, I'm indisposed right now. If you need to wash this, by all means, come in here. I don't know why.
Not much I can do.
You're not exactly physical. You can move through the door. Why are you taking the lockdown?
Mikey also says that he's related to James Dean.
Oh, that's rad.
And also through ancestry, Joan of Arc.
Oh, there's something coming.
There is something big coming for Joan of Arc.
Yeah.
Yeah, so apparently it opened cabinets and turned the lights on and off as well.
It's all, bro. I'm just trying to use the bathroom. Give me 5 minutes.
We can have a rave after I'm done.
You can haunt me in 5 minutes. Just let me go through my TikTok feed.
Okay, you know what? It was a college kid. He had a college kid as a guest. That's what it was.
Nothing beats Dragula.
Yeah.
Oh, Mr. and Mrs. Pogo are friends with Rob Zombie.
That's rad.
Nice.
Ivar says, "Wow, the number that in 5 are usually my lucky number. I wonder if my luck would change with that car." It might.
It might.
I wouldn't even get around that car, to be very honest with you.
Hello! Tyler!
Hello, Tyler. We have already said that.
What? I own a Subaru old, but not too old. Maybe you have parts. Maybe. I don't want to scare you. I'm joking. If it's parted out, wouldn't the parts carry the curse? Yes, I would believe so.
Because didn't that the guy that took the engine and he put it in a car and redid the car? Didn't he try to race that car and it just had horrible luck?
Yeah.
I want to say one of the things too with that was it the student who hit him lived, I think, and then a year to the day died almost in the same spot. I want to say I heard that somewhere. I didn't read it.
Yeah.
Don't quote me on it, but I want to say something like that happened too. But maybe not in the same spot, but the year to the day the kid died from a car accident.
I think something. Yeah, I'd have to go back and look at my notes. When I did mine, I tried to look at all that, and I remember you're right. There was something, but I can't remember what it was.
Yeah.
So Henry says, "Do people find a way to reverse a curse? Is all cursed objects, can they be reversed?" There are people who claim to be able to reverse curses. I believe it can be done, obviously.
Well, through anything, if you practice magic, if you practice anything occult, it's done through bindings. It's done through anything along those lines.
But some of them are so strong that it is hard. Something
like this with James Dean's car, people's belief, and this is where we come back to tulpas and stuff like that. People's belief in it can drive that to keep going, regardless. It's just there's so much belief. It's like, I guess I hate to bring it up, but it's like people's belief in the Bible. It's just there. There's nothing you can do to it to change.
There's nothing you can sway them, and we're not disparaging any religion, by the way.
No, we're not. I'm just saying that people have so much of a belief in the Bible, especially when it comes to the book itself, that when they go into places that they believe are haunted or something like that much belief in this holy object that they believe is holy
cross
stops things. Supposedly whatever.
Well, and this goes back to what Henry was saying about curses. I was reading, I can't remember what book it was, but it was a fascinating topic talking about like the difference between curses and hexes and jinxes and all that kind of stuff. And when, what a lot of us think of is like curses, all the bad stuff's happening to me. The way the book was talking about it, it could have very well been a jinx or a hex. That's, I think, what most people synonymously think of as a curse.
Well, I can't have you talking about jinxes as Hex's little brother. Okay.
I have a jinx on the neck. Wait.
But they were talking about curses, and actually curses, there's usually not a whole lot. If you look at historical curses, and they were looking at different places like in Europe and things like that, it's usually not like this big mumbo jumbo over a pot, that kind of stuff. It's usually somebody being wrongly accused of something and basically being tortured in a manner that's going to cause a lot of emotion. And all they pretty much says is, I curse this spot.
Yeah.
And then
you will rue the day.
and then that curse itself, if anything bad happens, becomes its own tulpa, because the area will remember that and pass it down through generations of telling why a certain place is cursed or haunted or things like that. And that's the reason curses last so long. They can last generations and generations because of that tulpa mentality, that mentality of believing that it's still there.
So, Ivar says, where about in Washington?
It doesn't specify.
We do not know. Hi, Raven.
Hi, Raven.
Also, so then Ivar says, so then not just the car, but the land too falls in the curse. That is possible.
Well, okay, here's the thing with the 46. It is actually considered Blood Alley in California. It is one of the most, the 46 is one of the most, how do I say it?
Deadly.
Deadly. There you go. I was about to say Deathly Hollows. I don't know why that popped in my head. It is one of the most deadliest highways in the United States. Mischief managed. It is one of the most deadliest highways in the United States. There is a lot of death on there, and it's one of those places where even during the daylight, you're like, I don't understand why I have to have daylight headlights on right now, but people don't see you coming, and they just like to, even if they're like, say, 1,000 feet ahead of you, oncoming traffic, they still will try to get over and get around traffic, even though there's now
some sort of almost optical illusion.
It's weird.
Something there is causing an optical illusion of some sort.
I will say this every single time I drive through there, and I love it's called Lost. Actually, this is another thing. The area where he died is called Lost Hills. Lost Hills.
Nadine has a cure for the curse.
What does she say?
Nadine says, put the car in reverse to reverse the curse.
Ferris Bueller, right? Just put it in reverse and added miles. But it's called Lost Hills through there, and even going through there, it's so weird. You can watch your cell bars it just drop, and you can see a cell tower like half a mile away.
You're like, what
and it
the
just
fuck?
drops and goes away. And all of a sudden, everything comes back, and the minute you get over the ridge, because you start going to the hills, and then when you start going to the hill to the south. Because if you're heading west, you're heading to the left is the south. That's where you can see where James Dean died. Once you get over the hill, it's like a breath of fresh air. You can, no joke, you're still like 60 miles from the ocean, maybe 100 miles from the ocean, and you can smell the sea breeze. It's fresh. It's so weird right there. Like it's just like there's so much gravity and so much pressure right there that you can just feel it. If you're inclined to feel it.
I wonder if it's like the vortex that's up in, is it Nebraska?
It's I know what you're talking about, and it's very, for me, I can say from my experiences there, because I've been through there a lot. I've been through there drunk, stoned.
I've heard people talk about how it just makes you feel funny.
It does.
We have a mystery spot in Santa Cruz too, where you get there and it is so weird. You literally can lean forward. And the gravity will just catch you.
You can be
walking and it's pushing down on you.
When you're walking uphill, it feels like you're walking downhill.
Yeah.
Like weird. So that's the mystery spot. That's actually a pretty popular place. But
it smells like poop and samosas.
And there's a lot of people living down around that area too. That's also
I'm not kidding. It smells like poop and samosas. I'm sorry. The bathrooms. They sell samosas.
The samosas are awesome.
And the samosas were really good, but then I just couldn't get away from the smell of the bathroom.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to drink samosas in the shithole of that area.
Can you do the smooth criminal? Nadine said. Yes, actually, yes. One of the coolest things that I got to do was I climbed up on a wall. And they said, okay, now just lean back. And I was like, what? He said, let go and lean back. And I was like, Okay, and I'm all, oh.
That goes against everything in my being.
It felt like I was standing straight up.
Over in Lake Tahoe, they have another spot like that where Bonanza was filmed.
Bonanza!
And you go into the house, and there they have a house like that, and the way they made the floor, this is man-made though. The way they made the floor, you feel like you're leaning forward, and then the minute you get out of the house, you get out of the house and everything's like straight up and down like it's supposed to be. And you're like, it's just that is being in the place where it's like that is not disorienting. It's when you come out of it and you're like, I feel normal again. I don't feel right, Bo. So
that is actually Pogo said there's a place here called Magnetic Hill where cars roll uphill. That was another thing. There is things roll uphill. It's not just
I know some of those places I think are for real, and some of those places are because there's a cemetery, and I want to say it's up in Tennessee or Kentucky or somewhere around in there, to where if you look at everything around that section of road, it looks like the road goes uphill. But what they did is they got a what are those people called that come out? A surveyor. Got a surveyor to come out there and actually look at the road itself, and it actually was going down just a little bit, but everything around it made it look like it was going up. It was an optical illusion, and that's why cars would roll uphill in that one. But that's not the same as like what you're talking about. And like
we actually the interesting part was you let a ball go and you think it's just gonna drop back towards you, and it went rolling up a hill, and I was just tripping out. And then they had me and somebody the same height as me stand next to each other, and then they had us just switch positions. Oh no, not switch position. Oh, that's what it was. Me and somebody taller than me.
Liz was finally tall.
Yeah, it was me and somebody taller than me that showed like a difference, and then we just switched position on flat land, and it went like this, and I was taller than them.
I wonder what the cell phone signal is like out there. I wonder if
it's terrible. I hate to bring this up, but when we went to go for her grandmother's funeral, we got lost.
And accidentally
her
went
cemetery is actually on. Okay, so the mystery spot is on one side of the hill, which it's a huge hill, and then the road arcs around to the other spot where the cemetery is, and you have no issues over where the cemetery is at. But
when it's really a UFO, and people are being buried on top of half of the UFO,
like the Tommy knockers, where the UFOs in the mountain.
I think Gail might like
Tommy knockers.
But when we were going over there looking for it, mind you, like I said, there's a lot of people living on this road, and you get in there and like it's one of those things where you're like, oh my god, this is probably one of Edmund Kemper's fucking dumping spots where he dumped bodies.
Well, yeah, because it's the same area.
It's the same area where he was doing stuff, but at the same time, you get in there and all of a sudden it's just when you're driving down the road to go to the mystery spot, it's like dark forest. And then all of a sudden you come back the other way. There's no connection. There's nothing else like there. It's people with houses with everything like it's just the basics of basic like necessities and stuff like that I have out there. And then also you come back out of the road a mile later, and everything's normal tech, normal technology, normal houses, all this other stuff. It's so weird through there.
Ivar says, this would be interesting to go and do a little investigation.
Well, Ivar, we have a bed behind us.
You are welcome.
Natalie, we have a bed behind us. We have room for all you guys whenever you want to come out to California and visit these things.
Us! We are!
We still have one more story to get to.
I know. I have another story to get to, and Natalie has a story to get to.
You can go ahead and do yours. Go ahead and do yours. Because mine's super short. Yeah, it's super short.
Mine's sort of long, kind of.
So...
the Annabelle doll, which I got to get back up to Henry's comment because I saved it. I didn't want to touch base on it because I was like, hey, we're going to get to that. So cursed object is usually like a doll. Annabelle, we probably know her from the movie. Yes. So here's the thing. Do you guys remember the Raggedy Ann dolls? Raggedy Ann and Andy?
That's what Annabelle used.
Annabelle is a Raggedy Ann doll. That's why she is Annabelle, by the way. But so people who like to watch horror movies must be familiar with Annabelle doll. For those who aren't, the Annabelle doll is a haunted doll who supposedly brings danger to people who interact with it. The Annabelle doll made an appearance in the horror movie The Conjuring, and thereafter had a separate movie that was made on the doll, where the doll was actually the main antagonist.
Let me interject real fast. Bringing up the Annabelle doll being in The Conjuring, then you move further down the road. The same, the investigators for the Annabelle doll also investigated. The Warrens investigated the Amityville horror place.
Well, I'm gonna get to that. Look.
Oh, it's all there.
Yeah. So, you know what statement I haven't made yet today? We're a little bit late in the feed to do it, so maybe we could just post it with it. But I will just say it right now too.
We forgot to do that.
Under the fair use, another author may make limited use of the original author's work without asking permission. Pursuant to 17 U.S. Code 107, certain uses of copyrighted materials for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, including multiple copies for classroom use, scholarship, or research, is not infringement of copyright.
Yeah, and we can list. I've got my sources here. We can just call out and list our sources at the end if you guys want to.
Oh yeah. And
they're at least source.
My Annabelle information from delightfulfacts.com. So the movie, however, is fictional, but there is a real Annabelle doll that exists.
Mm-hmm.
The real life Annabelle doll is a Raggedy Ann doll. Unlike what's depicted in the movies with that weird drag queen makeup going on.
Well, the reason
and the cracked eyeball.
Yeah.
The reason why they use that doll is because
nobody's afraid of a Raggedy Ann.
Yeah, no one's afraid of Raggedy Ann. Well, I mean, if people had this real Raggedy Ann doll, they'd be afraid of it. But the actual Annabelle, it's one of those dolls where it actually looks at you and all this other stuff. So and it's more creepy.
So unlike its depictions in the movie, the real Annabelle doll is just a Raggedy Ann doll. In the movies, they show this scary-looking plastic doll. But in reality, Annabelle is just normal, very ordinary looking. So it is kept at the Warren Occult Museum in Connecticut. In the movies, the doll was shown as being encased in a glass chamber, but in reality, the doll is kept in the Warren Occult Museum inside a wooden chamber that warns people not to open it. This case has a the devil tarot card on it, known as the demonic, stuck onto the front of it.
I'm sorry, they're straight up asking people to open it. Then
it makes me want to go.
Push the red button.
Well, I mean, it's kept in a wooden chamber, and are like, how do we see the doll? Well, you look through the wooden windows. You can't see through wooden windows. Yeah, you got to open it, but don't open it.
Oh my God! So it's more like Schroeder's.
Schroeder's
the Schrodinger cat.
Schrodinger's box. Schrodinger's box.
Yeah.
Is it dead or alive? It's both.
It's Schrodinger's doll.
Schrodinger's doll.
Well, then does it ask? Is the doll really there? Is it ever there?
Is it actually there?
Is it actually there?
Yep. And
do the Warrens really actually own it?
Does someone own it, like Natalie just said? Yes.
Yeah, do Ed and Lorraine Warren actually own it?
Or does the doll own them?
Ivar says that Sorry. Ivar says his roommates have her, Raggedy Ann.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, yeah. Oh God, I'm such a.
I had one that was it was one of the big ones, the really big ones when I was little, and it was as big as I was when I was like 4 or 5 years old, and that thing was terrifying at night when you turned out the light. Sitting over in the chair, yeah, it was terrifying.
Me being a big 6'1" Viking metalhead, just straight up into black metal. I absolutely love black metal and punk rock.
So
I had Pound Puppies and Cabbage Patch Dolls. I'm not gonna lie, I really did. I actually had my Pound Puppy until I was 22 years old.
What color was your Pound Puppy?
It was the brown one. It was white with brown spots and had a brown spot on its eye. I love that pound puppy.
I had a Teddy Ruxpin that I used to play Metallica tapes in. So
you make facial expressions.
Yes.
Have you seen
You
the Teddy
made him
Ruxpin?
haunted. You made him haunted.
So okay.
Sorry.
It was a gift. So Annabelle was a gift to a nursing student in the 70s. In 1970, a woman bought the Annabelle doll from a secondhand store as a present for her daughter who was a nursing student. It's not certain if the Raggedy Ann doll had any paranormal influences while it was in that store. However, strange things started happening after Donna received the gift from her mother. The doll apparently moved by itself. One of the most terrifying facts about the Annabelle doll is that apparently the possessed doll can move by herself. Donna often noticed the doll would be in a different place than where she left it. Sometimes the doll moved across the room in her absence. Donna mentions that once she left the doll on the couch and returned home to find the doll in her bedroom with the door closed.
See, that's when the doll would move because I yeeted it out the window.
That's when the doll would move because I set it on fire and then threw it. Donna has reported that she found small notes around the house that were apparently written by the doll. She claims she has found notes saying "help us" on parchment paper in children's handwriting.
I hate to say this.
No.
I just pictured the doll knocking on Natalie's door saying, "I don't want to be homeless. I'll be good. Can I come back?"
No.
No.
So
I'm thinking about Liz putting the backwards tape in Teddy Ruxpin and how terrifying that would be.
No, I did Metallica and Teddy Ruxpin.
The Teddy Ruxpin.
But what if you would have put a tape that would have sounded like reverse Metallica?
What I did do is hit play and fast forward at the same time.
No.
And it went, and it was like, and you're like, what the hell? I used to have, I was an only child, so that was literally my main entertainment, was pushing play and fast forward at the same time on tapes that I recorded off of K-Rock. Like, I found
was terrifying my brothers, so I would have had to do it slow and backwards.
Have you guys seen the Teddy Ruxpin doll that actually rips its face off?
No, but
it's cool as shit. Go look it up on YouTube.
So after being disturbed by the strange activities, now keep in mind, a lot of hauntings that you think are little girls or little boys are not little boys or little girls, guys. They take that form because they think that you're going to be more comfortable with it. But no. And we've talked about black-eyed children, okay?
Have we?
Yes, we
have. Oh, yeah.
I
think Natalie has. Definitely, yeah.
The doll was possessed by an inhumane spirit. After being disturbed by the strange activities, Donna decided to investigate the matter with the doll and invited a medium to see what was going on. The medium discovered that the spirit of a 7-year-old girl was inside the doll, and she had died on the property and was comfortable living with Donna and her friend. However, after the Warrens investigated the case, it was found that the doll was possessed by an inhumane spirit that was searching to possess a human body.
Stop real fast. Do you see the trend here with the Warrens?
Yeah, they like to say
Do you see the trend with the Warrens?
The Warrens like to say stuff like that.
There's a demon in here. We need to write a book and make money.
I like the Warrens, and a lot of people go, boo, the Warrens suck. But I like the Warrens because they have become a cult classic.
No, I do like the Warrens. I don't
have Amityville and all this other stuff without the Warrens being a part of it.
Exactly. I don't think they're terrible people at all. I'm just making jokes, but I think
I'm not saying they weren't scam artists to a certain point.
They were very much capitalizing on stuff at the time, and it's not like I know you need to get going. I'm sorry, but it's I know you really want to read this, but it's not like they didn't capitalize on this and then screw, what's his face, the ones who own the Amityville house over. They all made money off of it.
So people have been harmed by the doll. A priest who once visited the doll at the Warren Occult Museum commented, "The doll can't hurt anyone," and was reportedly involved in a near-fatal car accident after the visit. Another couple who poked fun at the doll met with a motorcycle accident on their way back that claimed the life of one of them.
They cut the brakes. They just walked out there. Oh, really? I can't hurt you. Snip. Cut the brake lines.
So,
I'm sorry.
Circumambulation is done regularly at the museum. The Warrens take every precaution to avoid any mishaps to the visitors of the doll. Prayers are offered by the priests in the area where the Annabelle doll is kept in the Warren Occult Museum in order to keep any harm at bay. They also warn visitors not to touch the case or to look at the doll for too long. So there is a question here.
What's the question?
Hold on.
Does he? Oh, he did buy a lot of the Warren stuff.
So now, so Raven Rose says Baggins says he owns Annabelle now, and she is correct, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
The doll, which is a Raggedy Ann, Zach now owns. He got it from Ed and Lorraine Warren's museum in Connecticut, and he has it on display, not in a wooden box, by the way. It is actually in a glass box with a warning that says positively do not open.
The Warrens, they're both dead now, aren't they? Or they're
both dead.
They're dead.
Yeah. Miss Warren died just a few years ago.
Yeah. It's I honestly I'll go back and say this again. I'm not trying to disrespect them. It's just there were some events there that actually kind of show where they were going, and it's just they knew what they were doing, and they created a lot of stories because of it, and they actually created a lot of stuff in pop fiction because of it.
Well, and I think that too. When we were looking into the whole satanic panic thing, when we were getting into the Memphis 3, Father Malachi, as much as I love listening to him on Coast to Coast, he's an interesting man to listen to. A lot of that kind of came out with the Warrens and all that during that time period. It's when that whole satanic panic.
The Exorcist movie was a big catalyst to push people. Before The Exorcist, people in America didn't exactly believe. I know you have your communities in like other rural areas here in California. We have a huge rural area here in the Central Valley, and you have a lot of people who believe that these entities are actually real beings that can come on Earth and get you. But especially after The Exorcist, everyone in America believed that Lucifer can literally show up, or Pazuzu, and possess you and do whatever they want with you. So a lot of that started there with that, with like you said, the Warrens, and then like The Exorcist, and going from there.
Ivar said
the Catholic Church too. This helped them a lot because during that time, the Catholic Church. Now, this is a theory. I'm not saying that this is true fact, but this is a theory that they kind of helped push it too, because a lot of people, the Catholic faith people were losing faith in it, basically.
Well, not to go off on religion, because my mom herself is Catholic. She just converted about a few months ago, but
she finished catechism a little bit.
She finished all that, and she is baptized Catholic now. I hate to say it this way, because a lot of Catholics are actually really good people, but fear fills the pews, and people are afraid. They want to make sure they're taken care of.
People are afraid of dying. People are afraid of being sick. People are afraid of never seeing their loved ones again.
Yeah,
or being left alone. I mean, you can see that same behavior, that same fear mongering.
Exactly.
So,
Ivar said that the dolls that his roommates have, actually, they have Raggedy Ann and Andy. Also, he said that the voice, the entity, claimed to be Balthazar.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I wanted to meet Beelzebub, though. I'm sorry.
And of course, I just think of Charmed when I hear Balthazar.
So that's who the entity was as well, Ivar? Yeah. Is that what you're saying? Okay.
Yes. The entity itself was claiming to be Balthazar.
Can you bring up Rob Yates' comment?
Pound puppy?
Yes, pound puppies. I love pound puppies. What's wrong with them?
I had a pound puppy.
I would still have that pound puppy, but I gave it to I think I gave it to my nephew or something like that a long time ago.
Now he's going to be thinking about that pound puppy after this stream. He's going to be, I wish I'd have kept my pound puppy.
Now I'm going to be going to Amazon and looking for a pound puppy. And it wasn't one of the small ones. It was one of the really big ones. It was awesome.
I remember those. No, my brother had a smaller one.
My mom and dad gave it to me for one Christmas, and like they thought it was gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna like just put on my bed and go play my Nintendo that they just bought me. No, I played my Nintendo for a minute, and then I went and had my pound puppy. I loved it.
Ivarus got lost at Disneyland.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
I used to have a Carrie fucking King shirt that I can't say what it says because then it insults a religion. But it got lost in Tucumcari, New Mexico, and I really didn't want to go back to that hotel because it looked like that hotel from that what was that horror movie? I want to say it was like 7. The horror movie? No, it wasn't 7. The horror movie where like it's all these people are staying in this creepy hotel, and then there's one killer out of all of them. And I'm not going to say that. You know what?
Was that? I forget what the name of that was, but I know what you're talking about.
And it was like, in the end, you know what? It's long enough for a spoiler, okay? I'm sorry. And in the end, they were all a figment of his imagination.
Oh, well, I watched one that was similar, and it turns out they were all in purgatory.
These two I've seen. I know what you're talking about. I have not.
But, okay, so let me tell you, that hotel in Tucumcari looked like that, and I'm talking about as you drive up the blinking lights too, like the
murder motel, basically.
Yeah, and I had this really cool. It was a KFK shirt, which is Carrie fucking King, and I loved it. It was not Hostel, but that was a good movie.
Hostel was amazing.
I loved this shirt, and I have never been able to find it again because the shirt is never. It's not in print.
Yeah.
I guess okay. If I say. I'll say what it is, but I won't say what's on it. But the shirt says some people just have to learn the hard way. And I loved that shirt so much, but I will never find it again.
Mm-hmm. All right.
If I find it, I'll pay $100.
We are over the hour and a half mark.
Natalie has one more story.
Natalie's got one more story, so we need to move forward.
I thought we were going 2 hours. So.
Were we going 2 hours? Oh, we are? Okay, cool. I'm down. I'm happy to go 5 hours when we need to.
Okay. All right. So you may go with the last one then.
That was it. Okay, fine. Let's go look through websites, and we're here for the long haul.
You don't have to
we'll be here all night. All right. So what I'm going to talk about tonight is called The Woman from Limb, or Limb. E-L-E-M-B. Limb.
It's a weird L-E-M-B. Yeah, it's a weird spelling for limb.
Yeah.
Limb.
All right. So the statue is also nicknamed the Goddess of Death because of all the deaths associated with it. The statue is carved from pure limestone and was discovered in 1878 in Limb, Cyprus. After investigating it, researchers found that this statue dated back to 3500 BC and is rumored to represent a goddess. It was presumed an idol of fertility. Now, the first owner of the statue went by the name of Lord Elfnot. Elfnot? Is that right? E-L-P-H-O-N-T. Elfont.
We found a picture of it. We're saving that, but where is it at, okay. Lord?
Elfont.
Yeah.
Okay. And a strange occurrence happened after Lord Elfont was in possession of the statue for over 6 years. All 7 members of his family died from mysterious causes, including Lord Elfont.
There's a statue right here.
Yeah. Now, the next 2 owners of the cursed statue, named Ivor Manchui and Lord Thompson Noel, unfortunately died while being in possession of the statue as well. The deaths of Ivor and Lord Thompson Noel include the deaths of their entire families after having the statue in their house for only a short time. It progressively gets weirder and stranger when a 4th person comes along and claims ownership of the cursed statue. Sir Alan Beverbrook had unfortunately died soon after claiming ownership of the cursed statue, and it has also claimed the lives of his wife and 2 of their daughters. Now, ironically, though, the 2 sons remained alive. They were not big believers of the powers the statue supposedly held, but after the strange and mysterious deaths of their 4 family members, they decided to donate the statue to the Royal Scottish Museum in Edinburgh. If you are looking to see the object and are close to the museum, you are in luck. This object is still in the museum to this day. But the tale of this cursed statue doesn't stop at Breverbrook. When the statue was first donated to the museum, the chief of the section where the statue sits suddenly died soon after. Workers of the museum refused to admit that the statue has supernatural powers and was the cause of death of the chief, but no one has touched the statue since the chief passed away. Have no fear, though. The object is surrounded by glass and is protected from human hands.
Have no fear. The glass will protect you from the demons in the statue.
Now, I will back this up. Now, I found 2 websites that stated that this is just a fertility statue and that none of this ever happened. But there are so many out there that state that it did happen. I mean, like probably 20 to 1. I couldn't find its listing in the museum in Edinburgh, so I can't say for sure if this one's true or not.
It almost sounds like this, what is it? American Werewolf in London, where they finally get to the pub and they're out in the middle of nowhere in was it Wales or wherever, like a village out in the middle of nowhere. And they're sitting there, everyone's having a good time. They start joking with them, with the Americans, and the American goes, "What's that pentagram up there?" And it was one of those things you were not supposed to talk about. And they're like, "You got to go now," because they brought it up. And it's like bringing the demon or bringing all the monsters into you.
There could be something to this. I mean, like I said, there's different versions out there, but they're all relatively the same. But there were 1 or 2 that I found that said that this is all hoo-ha. And I can't confirm that it's at the Museum of Edinburgh.
You bring up the fact that it was a fertility, or people were saying it's a fertility statue. When we brought up the picture, it's very much a fertility statue.
Yeah, that's definitely a fertility statue.
It's very much phallic. Then
phallic.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But if you look at the statue too, you can very much tell it. Do you say it was wood earlier on, or is it? It was wood and now
limestone.
Oh, limestone. There you go.
It has an angry face on the.
I was gonna say it looks like a little angry, like I don't know, trolly looking.
That is an angry vagina.
That's an angry vagina.
Give me children. Give me children now, or I will kill your family.
My clock is running out.
Wake up and the freaking statue is raping me. Oh my god! Ah!
Well, there's only one way that statue can rape you. Throw up a picture.
Man, I don't want to talk about this anymore. We're done. I'm kidding.
All right then. So this has been our 3rd official podcast episode for You Can't Sit With Us.
Well, speaking of which, of what we talked about, which one would we allow to sit with us?
If it was me, if I were to take these objects and have them laid out in front of me, I would take the ring of Valentino or Rudolph Valentino. I wouldn't wear it, nor would I have it in my house. But I would have it in a safe deposit box somewhere. Just to say I do own it, but I'm not wearing it.
One of the things I actually wanted to mention about that ring, about Rudolph Valentino, really, is he was also mentioned an inspiration in American Horror Story Hotel.
Oh, was he?
Yes. So he was one of the actors, and they actually some of the movies that you mentioned, they showed them filming.
He was if you've seen the series,
he was Gaga's lover.
They both were the 2 other vampires that made Lady Gaga.
I was trying not to get that
It's been years since the season's been out.
Still trying not to get that deep into it. But yeah.
Well, which one would you say?
Well, his is one of the famous ghosts in Hollywood too, though, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. He was very much. I want to say he was very. I know he kept up appearances. I know, like a lot of the men at the time, because being outed as homosexual or whatnot, or was very bad. But I want to say he was very flamboyantly bisexual or something along those lines. He did have his girlfriends or wife or whatever it was, but what was the other actor who was Rock Hudson, very gay, but kept up appearances, and you didn't know until after he died that he didn't like women or didn't like women in that way. I'm sorry, I apologize.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
So which one would you sit with, Natalie? Which one would you have?
I think I would have to vote on The Ring too. I would just admire it from a distance, a very, very far distance with a pair of binoculars. Because it seemed harmless as long as you didn't put it on.
As long as you didn't put it on, and then you can go for years
or if you're a bank.
Yeah, well, if you're a bank, you're going to have incidents all the time. But if you have a house and you just put it in your safe, you're fine.
Yeah.
I would have to go with Little Bastard.
Maybe a mirror.
That'd be cool. You're taking chances, aren't you? I mean, because that thing like falls on people.
Yeah, but I would have to say Little Bastard.
You could be upstairs. You could be upstairs in your house, and the Little Bastard could be down in your basement. For some odd reason, it would fall on you.
So, Pogo says, "Imagine having Rudolph Valentino's ring on your finger."
No.
No, I'm good.
I think out of all the stories that we had here tonight, Rudolph, that ring is actually all the stories. It is.
I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you. Oops, I touched it.
It's one of those ones where it's been consistent. Everyone who's had that ring, and that it's very, very bad. Don't put it on. It might even be irradiated. They might have made it from the ashes of. They went forward in time, got some ashes from Chernobyl, went back in time, made it for Rudolph Valentino, put the tiger's eye on there, and it's radiated. It's from made.
That's
from the
what it almost. If it wasn't for the ones that had bad luck with like shootings and things like that, it almost would make you think it would be some sort of heavy metal poisoning or something. Almost.
It's something along those lines.
Ivar says the car hands down.
Yeah.
Hello, Carl.
Carl.
What's
up?
The what? What did he call us?
Clevengerinos.
The Clevengerinos.
Yeah, no, not sitting with any dolls. Pogo says, "Good to see you guys. Got to get some stuff done. Have a good night. Much love and respect from Mr. and Mrs. Pogo and the Australian clown community."
Yay!
And we you need to let us know when you guys are going to do that investigation.
We'll
make sure we're up.
We'll help you out.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, Ivar said me too, because I was saying Little Bastard.
Yeah.
Definitely not Annabelle.
It would be a cool thing. I think it's similar to The Ring. As long as you don't try to get near it, take anything from it, or touch it, you'll be all right.
Pogo says will do. That's awesome.
Awesome.
Well,
I believe we have finished everything we were going to talk about tonight.
Anything else you want to?
I love this. I love these. So we're going to probably be doing podcasts that are not live, like with people quite often, but we're going to try to do like once a month where we involve everybody in the podcast. And we're going to have our regular shows that you guys are used to. Roots Bleed Red, Spooky Tales, Out of the Ordinary, even the Horror Gallery. Even though they're a little bit, like we're all
they're
a little bit
random. They've become the random show.
I know, right? And Wednesday.
Oh, this Wednesday.
Aka and Otherwise Be Nevermore are going to meet.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna be fun.
I'm so excited.
He's a very nice guy.
I referred to myself in third person, but I don't care. So I get to talk with Otherwise Be Nevermore, a major up and coming in the clown community. I'll let him tell his story, but I know he has not been in the community that long, and he has kicked ass, and he has worked for it. Absolutely worked for it. and we are going to talk about how he came to be, how he decided about his name, and why he decided to do it. So join us for that. Yeah, he never disappoints. He never disappoints. So thank you guys tonight so much. Have a wonderful night. Oh,
I do have something to say.
What?
Are you guys ready to go?
Well, maybe, but I don't know.
Well, no. I just want to let everyone know, honestly, none of you guys can sit with us. Not in any shape or form.
You can't sit with us.
Don't even think about it. You can't sit with us.
Ooh,
yes, they can.
Can't sit with us. We got blurry.
On Fridays, we were black.
Yep.
Just saying.
I'm melting into the background.
Nobody told me to wear black. My kids I bet you guys told Mother Delamort, and she didn't tell me. I know she wouldn't tell me.
Natalie,
actually, I told Ludi, and I think Ludi just ran off.
Aside from one Christmas episode we did a while back, I think this is the first time that Mother Delamort let you
out of the crypt.
Yeah.
So
she's hard nosed, I'm telling you, she is.
Right. All right, guys, we're out.
All right, thank you so much. Have a wonderful night.
And you can't sit with us.
You can sit with me. You can.
This is Mr. Applebite speaking. There is nothing wrong with your device. Join me here on Psycho Bunny DC. A delightfully dreadful consternation of horror content